as a group of custodians. For example, on our southern end, you have Madison Southern, you have Foley Middle and Shannon Johnson, all right there together, and we're able to take care of those without a contract. So some of our campuses simply have not been greatly in need of that. So and we allocated a little additional custodial staff to be able to handle that.
And Dr. Broombaugh, did I understand correctly? We're already, these 6 that we're being asked to approve tonight, we're already under contract for those. They're currently being part of the mowing contract?
No, I wasn't clear on that. We had a contract in place with a different company that used to mow those. They opted out of it. So obviously the goal here is to have everything in place. That way when the mowing season begins in the spring, that we have a company in place to start doing that. So it technically ended toward the end of the mowing season last fall.
Gotcha.
But they were already being mowed.
They were already being mowed.
Outside by a contractor, yes.
By a contractor, yes.
This is no additional outside services being rendered here. Just continuation of what we've been doing the past couple of years.
Got it. All right. Do we have any other questions for Dr. Broombaugh? No? All right. So I will need a motion to approve and award the mowing contract with Ballard Property Maintenance to mow Madison Central, Madison Middle, Madison Kindergarten Academy, Kirksville, Kingston, and Boonesboro Elementary.
I'll make the motion.
All right. We have a motion by Mrs. Burford. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All right. Second by Mrs. Brock. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. And any opposed? No? All right. Perfect. Thank you all.
Thank you.
We have next. Thank you, Dr. Broombaugh. All right. The next on our agenda, we need to schedule a special meeting. The timing is crucial for us to get started on our Clarkmore Middle School renovation project. And we are hoping to get the majority of the construction occurring during the summer months while school is not in session. So it's critical that we get moving on this so we can take advantage of the summer work time. So I need a motion to hold a special meeting on February the 23rd at 3 p.m. to approve the design and development for the Clarkmore Middle School renovation project. Do I have a motion? Okay, I have a motion by Mr. Rutherford. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mrs. Coyle. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. Any opposed? No? All right. Perfect. All right. And next we are going to move on to our instruction report. And we have with us tonight, we're doing an elementary report, and we have Mr. Jeff Mounts, our principal at Kingston, and Ms. Jennifer Martin, who is our principal at Madison Kindergarten Academy. So welcome you guys, and take it away.
Well, I appreciate you guys letting us come, and even though it's virtual, I still think there's lots of good news to share by way of instruction. And the elementary schools, I'm so proud of every school in the district. The elementary schools are obviously a little more, I lean towards those a little bit more, and they're just doing great stuff. And I'm excited Jeff and I get to share about it. So one of the reasons why I'm excited is because we have really taken seriously through all of the modes of instruction we've been through, and it's been quite a few. We joked that we had our third beginning of school the other day. But what the teachers at Madison Kindergarten Academy have really tried to do is make sure that no matter what mode of instruction we were in, our mission this year was to make sure that we were delivering and still continue to deliver high quality, engaging content, even though we knew we were probably going to struggle a little. We didn't know what we were facing, but we were just going to keep a growth mindset about it. And with really the goal of keeping student and parent engagement really, really high. So back in November, when it looked like we were going to be virtual for a little while, we needed to come up with a plan that was just a little more systematic and comprehensive to keep parents and students engaged. And we had to do it through the means that we felt like parents already knew and didn't cost a lot of resources. So again, problem, we wanted to make sure that students were engaged because we didn't want to miss any. And we had a free tool, this resource called Class Dojo. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that. Maybe your children have used that in the past, but it's basically a social media app that's closed off to just schools. It's not like an open public Facebook, but it acts like a platform like Facebook. So with that, I just asked teachers, what could we do during that time, knowing we were going to be extended for a little while, to make sure high quality content still got to the students and was just meaningful and easy for parents. And to tell you about how those outcomes came about, I brought a teacher with me because I feel like they best represent what we've been doing. I was planning on having two teachers here tonight. One of them is embedded in a video. She actually had a power outage today and sent a video of her part. So I brought with me Mr. Harris, Nick Harris. He is my math interventionist serving intervention students at MKA and also facilitating Option 2 students for kindergarten in the county. And I am going to go ahead and let him present his screen, and he is going to walk us through just how we use this social media app. We're going to show you a few kid videos that demonstrate some of the things that we've done. And then after he's finished, I will wrap us up. Go ahead, Mr. Harris, take it away.
Hello, everyone. Give me a thumbs up if you can see the presentation. Awesome. I sound like I do with my virtual students, but I didn't play any songs for you all today. I regret it. Usually we play a Zoom tune prior to starting a meeting. So just like Mrs. Martin said, my name is Nick Harris. I am the math interventionist at MKA. This is my third year in that role at MKA, and I also have been charged with helping facilitate the Tier 1 math instruction for our My School Online math students throughout the county. So I started wrapping my head around this stuff pretty early in the school year and was able to, with the help of my colleagues, Mrs. Stacy, Ms. Ferris, we've come up with some pretty cool ways to kind of attack virtual learning, and I wanted to share one of those ways with you today. So this presentation is very brief. It's called Parent Partnership Using Class Dojo to Increase Involvement. This is, of course, presented by Mrs. Martin, the principal at MKA. I'm Nick Harris. You know me. I'm the MIT. And Mrs. Courtney will be showing up with us embedded in a video later on down the presentation. So just a brief little overview of our Option 2 stuff at MKA. So it's kind of departmentalized, right? So we have Mrs. Stacy teaching reading, Mrs. Ferris is handling science and social studies, and I'm helping kind of everyone figure out math. We're doing some synchronous and asynchronous stuff. We also have a para. Mrs. Workman has been helping with that as well. So I help facilitate that. Just like I said, we've got students from all over the county, including MKA, Boonesboro, Shannon Johnson, Kirksville, Waco, Kingston, and Silver Creek. And when we started the year, we had almost 100 kids. It's down to about 80 now. But knowing all that in mind, we kind of had to decide what this was going to be like, and we developed kind of this mission statement that I feel like we've all lived by since then. And it is, we're just going to do everything in our power to ensure that our My School Online students achieve the best educational outcomes as possible. Right? So we have obstacles and we've had challenges with our virtual learning, but in many instances, we've been able to use the momentum of those challenges to our benefit. So one of those obstacles was this. At the very beginning of the school year, I had to figure out how I was going to administer benchmark diagnostic assessments to 100 kids virtually. So that was an obstacle, right? And so we're sitting around discussing these things, and then I just kind of said this out loud. Can I just have the parents do it on Class Dojo? And that was kind of a watershed moment for me. I figured out that there's lots of things that we can do via this free, just like Mrs. Martin was saying, this free app. So let me show you just really quickly. So this is something we can do on Class Dojo. This is called an activity. It's through the portfolio function of the website. And basically what I've done is anytime I need to know something about those students, if I need to take pre-test data, post-test data, if I need to do a check-in that would be related to benchmarking, like for ABMR, we do that 3 times a year. I cut it up into small, doable tasks for the parents. I assign it via a script on Class Dojo. I do a tutorial video showing them how to do it. I usually have a fox puppet that I use to help me. Also, drop the ball on that one. No fox puppet today. My apologies. And so I push that out to all of our parents, and then they send videos back of their students doing the assessment tasks. That way I'm able to see their faces. I'm able to see their hand gestures. It's really important in kindergarten to be able to see those things to get the information we need. And so I got all this data, and then I thought, okay, like not only do I get the data, I can also give feedback right to the parents. So I started doing that, and I started typing it all out into the comment section. And I thought, okay, I'm a wordy guy. I've got a lot to say. There's got to be a more efficient way to do this. So then I realized that I could drop links from Loom or Screencastify, mostly Loom. It's a free extension you can get for your Chrome app. You put it in your browser, it records your desktop. You can record directly to the parents, and you put a link right there in the comments section on Class Dojo. And then something like this happened. So everyone, just for my own edification, give me a thumbs up if you can see the video. All right, so let's play this and see how this rolls.
Are you ready to count some numbers? All right, I want you to start from number 1, and I want you to keep counting until I tell you to stop and go.
26, 27, 28, 29, 30.
Stop. What comes after 19?
20,
What comes after 20?
21,
What comes after 23?
24.
And what comes after 29?
30.
Good job. Give me some.
Hello, I just watched Leroy's forthcoming video and wanted to give some feedback about what I saw. And I also wanted to tell you that this video has brought a smile to my face today. Listening to your interaction with Leroy and your enthusiasm for counting and for math, it's made me really happy. Sounds great starting from 1. He's able to pick up from a given number and count from there. He's also able to automatically generate those number words after. Let's talk about why those are important skills. So he's right where he needs to be. He's met this benchmark. All we really need to do is keep practicing, and in class we need to apply the skill. So I will put them in situations where not only are they practicing the skill poorly, but they're also using it to solve problems. So keep up the awesome work, keep up the awesome energy. I really appreciate it.
So obviously, if Leroy had exhibited any sort of misconceptions or any things he needed help with, I would have been able to directly communicate that to the parent and share some instructional moves that they can do at home with the student. And we've done that a ton with our Option 2 students this year to wonderful effect. I've been looking recently at my ABMR data for these students, and they are either on level or above level in the mathematics strands for ABMR in kindergarten, which is pretty fantastic. All of the students that I serve for Option 2 in addition to my intervention students. So with this idea in mind, and as we started to wrap our heads around, how can we address the needs of all students throughout the building? Mrs. Martin had a conversation with one of our wonderful kindergarten teachers, Mrs. Courtney, and we started discussing how we could kind of scale this up to the building level.
Are you ready to count some numbers?
So let me see if I can get to the next slide here.
Okay,
This
Mr.
is
Harris.
Mrs. Courtney.
Mr. Harris, excuse
Yes,
me.
sir.
Before you play that, if you would, mute your personal mic because we're getting feedback. It's coming through twice. So just mute yourself. And I think when you play the video, it will come through on the presentation. Thank you.
Gotcha. Absolutely.
While we're in the virtual setting has been a complete game changer. So due to many different various reasons, I do not have as high as a Zoom participation as many as my colleagues. And this is something I've talked to Ms. Martin a lot about. And one evening we were talking and she was like, you know what? Our Option 2 teachers are seeing success using these video tasks. And so that inspired me. We hung up the phone. I immediately called Mr. Harris. And he took the time to explain everything to me. And we talked through, what it would probably look like for Option 1. And I was so excited about this. And I so wanted to just try it, just to put it out there to see if it was going to be something that would work for my class. It's important to mention that 5 of those students that I got videos back from that first night, I hadn't seen. Those are students that are unable, like I said, for various reasons, to join us on Zoom for instruction. And all the parents said that the students were super excited to see my video. They were so excited to see me, and they could not wait to send me a video back. So that's how it all started. And the way it kind of works out for us in Option 1 is we send out a whole class task parent. And then I would talk to the parents and I would be able to give them a script and, say, this is what we're working on. This is how I would like you to say it, the verbiage that I want you to use. And if you'll just record the response, and then we can go from there.
Grown-ups, how are you all?
Thank you again so much for being so patient and being so kind and just this whole new learning curve and trying new things with me. I appreciate it so much.
If there is one frog, we call it a frog. If there's more than one frog, what would you call them?
Frogs.
Good. If you have more than one snail, what would you call them?
Snails.
Good.
We're able to go in and watch that student's video and then provide specific feedback just to that student and that parent. But no matter the setting that we're in during, this year, virtual or in person, we are confident that our instruction is still moving right along.
All right, so I think I turned my mic back on. All right, so the title of this presentation was Parent Partnership, and so it made sense to me to seek out feedback from our wonderful My School Online parents, in addition to other parents from the school, just to kind of get their feedback and their opinions about how this is going. So the final video you're going to see tonight from us is going to be just some snippets of parents talking about this video feedback system that we've developed and used this year. All right, let me slide past Miss Courtney one more time.
Especially while we're in the virtual setting, has been a complete game changer. So due to many...
There we go. All right. So I'm going to turn off my mic and I'm going to let the parents take it away, and then we'll turn it back over to Mrs. Martin when they're finished.
A lot during kindergarten, a lot more than I expected from a virtual aspect. So it's been very positive for the videos. It's very personable and individualized. I feel like that, I'm comfortable with where he is.
Kindergartners have been receiving the video feedback through Class Dojo, and it's been really helpful. I can't speak for all parents, but I definitely feel a little bit lost and unsure of what I'm supposed to be doing. And just a second, Bubby. Okay. Sorry, case in point. And so it kind of gives me a direction to move in and to kind of know what we need to work on and how I can be helping. So it's been very, very helpful to have the video feedback for the kindergartners, because it allows me to participate more and just offer that additional support and, just do what we're all trying to do, which is help them have the best possible school year in these crazy circumstances.
I definitely think the individualized feedback has been something that has moved my child from the beginning of the year until now, because we know exactly what we need to work on and we know the benchmark and when it needs to be mastered. So it kind of helps parents to self-monitor if their child is getting to that point in progressing in a way that they need to be, or if they need some extra support. I was worried that my child wouldn't get specific feedback this year like they would in the classroom, since he is virtual. It's been very helpful this year. I have even shown some of the feedback videos to my teachers to say, hey, this is good feedback. This is what parents need to hear, because it does let parents know exactly how they can help. And that's something we're always trying to work on.
I can only say great things about this. I feel like the feedback that we get is truly helpful. So I am truly thankful for these feedback videos. I feel like it's a tremendous help for us parents here, especially with this year and how crazy it is. I can't thank all of these teachers enough for all of the hard work that they are doing, because this year is crazy. And I just want them to know, like, your hard work is not going unnoticed, and it's making a big difference.
All right, so with that, I will turn it back over to Mrs. Martin. I will add that penultimate parent there is a principal, and that's what she was referring to with showing it to her teachers as well. I just wanted to clarify that. So there's Mrs. Martin, and thank you all so much for the time to share this tonight. I've enjoyed it, and I've really enjoyed this year. So thank you.
Yeah. Well, I do want you to stay on, Nick, just in case anybody on the board does have any questions for us. But again, it's one of those things this year that I think we have learned a lot. And that Class Dojo app is, I think, primarily it's just been used as a behavior monitor. You might hear us, if you come to MKA, you'll hear us say things like, we're going to ding you or dong you, and that means something to the kids, and it has sound effects. And it seems, very kindergarten, elementary type app. And we have taken it and we have squeezed every bit of something that we could out of that app. And parent communication has been really and truly unbelievable because of it. And I'm proud of them. Every teacher has tried. I said, I just want you to try. As long as we're giving good instruction with clear teacher clarity and give feedback, you are really doing your ultimate job this year. And I'm super proud of them. They've done it. We continue to do those tasks, even though kids are in, it's lesser now that we've come back. But sometimes we just send videos out for fun and say, hey, show us what you did at home today. Hey, let's share something that maybe we didn't get to share in the class. So it's been a great thing for us, and just made us think about different ways to communicate and engage parents. And so, yeah, I'm proud of them. Any questions from you all? For me, for Mr. Harris?
I have a question. I'm utterly impressed with all of this. I think that's absolutely fabulous. I'm going to put my parent hat on for a second. If I were a parent, I would have no idea how to return those videos and do what you were asking them to do. Did you have to do was there some type of training, or how did you show these parents how to do what you needed them to do? Yeah.
I'm sorry, Ms. Martin. So that's a really good question. And there definitely, with a large scale system like this, there's always going to be some kind of troubleshooting issues that come up. And we still have some parents that have difficulty. And we also have a lot of grandparents who are facilitating this for our students at home. So we do run into that. So generally for my assignments, I get about, let's see, if I send out 80, I get back maybe 50 to 60 videos back. So there's always going to be a few that I don't. But that frees me up for the time that I do have during the school hours to do some one-on-one checks with those students during Zoom. I keep them behind after a lesson, and I do a check one-on-one. And there's other things I can arrange. We've also done things where parents have emailed it to me if they've had difficulty with the app. And we've also used some time during live lessons to just kind of show this. We screen share. We kind of facilitate it and do some troubleshooting. So we spot check it. At this point, most of our parents are pretty fluent with the tech, but there's always going to be issues like that. I think that's a really good question.
That's great.
It does function very similarly to social media. So a lot of times parents who have struggled with it, it's very similar to the video upload function of Facebook or Twitter or Instagram or things that a lot of our parents are familiar with. So sometimes it just takes pointing out the similarities in the tech, and they generally have picked up on it.
Mm-hmm. That's great. Good.
Mr. Harris, I love this idea. Like, it seems in concept so simple, but to get the parents and the students involved at home and then to actually get them to respond back to you can sometimes be a challenge. So, wow, thank you. That's fantastic.
You're very, very welcome. I knew at the beginning of this year with the sheer amount of students that if we didn't kind of deputize the parents and really try to educate them about the standards and instructional moves within the standards, then we weren't going to see the kind of educational and academic outcomes that I expect to see with students. So really what it truly is a parent partnership. It's me explaining the moves that I make in class and the moves that I make in intervention with parents and them really starting to step up and do that at home as well. And that's why we're seeing the results with those students that we're seeing, is because the parents are learning more. It's not just the communication. It's also, I feel like it's taken that wall down between parents and the content that we've always struggled with. And they really understand what we're teaching and why and how. And that's the power of it.
I would just like to say, Ms. Martin and Mr. Harris, thank you for that presentation. That was very enlightening. I had no idea that something like this even existed. I mean, I've not had kids in school for 5 years, so I'm oblivious to what these parents are having to do. And seeing this is very, very enlightening. And And hopefully by this being put out on, other people will be able to see that we are engaging with their kids and we're not just sending paper packets home, and our teachers are really trying to interact with their kids and teach them something. So I appreciate this a lot. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
We do not consider this year lost. The nation is trying to ascribe that the year is lost, and it isn't. And that's been a missional thing we've had to say to ourselves and say to each other, just as learners in the building. The year's not lost. They are growing. I told Mr. Elam that the other day when he visited. You're getting generalized statements in the news that the kids are so behind and they're lost. And we have evidences of otherwise. And again, it's not perfect, but we're marching on, plodding. As my pastor would say, we're plodding, we're going on. So I'm super proud of them.
This is very enlightening because a lot of what we hear as board members, I think, is just a lot of the horror stories from parents, and actually seeing a lot of the good positive things going on really helps us feel better about what's going on in our schools and teaching our kids. So thank you very much.
Good. That's what we wanted.
And we can't wait until the day we can get back in there live and in person to see firsthand. That's going to be even better.
One thing I will say is there's so much that I've learned instructionally this year, and also just with interacting with parents, that I will carry over once in-person school starts in earnest, and once maybe I go back to the classroom one day out of intervention, I'll still be doing a lot of this stuff that I've started doing this year, even if I don't have to.
All right. Well, is that everything, Mrs. Martin? Okay, great. Well, I do want to thank you all very much. I'll echo what everyone else has said. It is very exciting to see the type of learning taking place that you've just exhibited to us. And I know as a parent, I get very nervous when I don't understand all of the technology and how those puzzle pieces fit together. And you guys have done a fabulous job of bringing those parents into that circle. And I think that's really good. So thank you all very much and for all that information. It's great news. So
thank you for the opportunity. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you all. Okay. All right. Well, there's our instruction report. So we'll move on. Thank you all again. We appreciate that. Next up on the agenda is our finance report. And I believe we have Mr. Woods with us somewhere.
Yes, ma'am. I'm here. How are you all this evening?
Fine. Thank you.
I'm going to switch over to trying to present here. All right. Let me know if everybody can see that. Okay. All right. So as of January 31st, the district ended with a reconciled balance of $92,485,822.99. You can see there on screen it is up compared to this time last year, but I will point you to the lines that say capital outlay, FSPK, and construction. Those are all building funds. Those are all restricted funds for that building. The big one being the construction. We did sell bonds during November and December for the new career and ATC centers. So you can see that's where the majority of the difference in the balance exists. The general fund is up a little bit as compared to this time last year, but that is accounted for in our tax deposits because last year tax deposits were delayed. So that should balance out in the month of February. We should balance back in line with that. Of the reconciled balance, the district has $5,740,990.65 in investments. Those rates are from 0.65% to 1%. And we're just holding tight with those. I've looked at investing, but the market is extremely down right now. We couldn't even get the 0.65 right now with the market. So I think we're going to keep our funds liquid at this time. In your package, you also had a balance sheet and the revenue and expense report for the month. Stop sharing those. Switch back here. We've talked about it the past few months about our collection rates. We are holding strong on our collection rates with taxes and seem to be consistently with where we were at this time last year. And that is my finance report.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Woods. Do we have anyone that has any questions for Mr. Woods on his reports? No question? As usual, Mr. Woods, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, it helps to turn your microphone on. I apologize. I don't know where I was at, so let's start all over. Thank you, Mr. Woods. We appreciate it. So with no questions, anybody have any questions? No questions? All right. So I need a motion to approve the finance reports as presented.
So moved.
All right, we have a motion by
Second.
All right, we have a second by Mrs. Coyle. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? No? All right. So the motion carries. I have a very sensitive little keypad here and it keeps turning my microphone off. All right, next on our agenda, we have our superintendent's report. So Dr. Gillum, we'll let you have the microphone.
All right, let me get it unmuted there. Okay. Good evening. Thank you for that. And just as we're able to get return students into the classroom, we get hit with an ice storm. So, but I will say that we did have a great 2 days earlier this week, and it was wonderful to see students back in the buildings and those buildings just busting with excitement. We hope everyone is at home and staying safe during this ice storm, and we are planning to return on Monday with our students in our AB hybrid plan. Of course, that's weather permitting, and we know that Kentucky weather in February is always interesting. With our return, I continue to be encouraged and very optimistic about the remainder of our school year. We continue to see improvements in almost every measure of COVID spread throughout our world, throughout our nation, throughout our state and our community. In fact, Madison County, earlier today, the incident rate was released, and it's the lowest that it's been since November 16. So that is very good. And as well, additional good news this afternoon, the Kentucky Department of Public Health announced their updated guidelines from the CDC regarding quarantine. And with that, anyone who has been fully vaccinated, had both doses of the vaccine, will no longer be required to quarantine following an exposure. So that is really going to help us. We've talked about this several times during this situation. One of the things that really has the potential to impact us is losing staff members, not to the virus itself, but to quarantine, them having to be at home and not being able to work. So having vaccinated so many of our employees, if we're able to get them back in and they don't have to quarantine in the event that they get an exposure, and most of those exposures are taking place outside the school environment. But if they don't have to quarantine, that can really help us, because that has been one of our biggest challenges, is maintaining appropriate staffing levels through all of the quarantine piece. Speaking of vaccinations, our vaccination clinic went very well last week. We vaccinated over 1,300 people, and I certainly appreciate, first of all, Kroger for their partnership as our designated vaccinator. I also want to thank Aaron Stewart and Jeannie Caldwell, and as well our district health coordinator, Sharon Barnes, who organized the entire system. It's a challenge to vaccinate that many people with everything that has to take place, and as well putting in all the social distancing requirements and everything that has to happen there. So we really appreciate them, as well as lots of people across our district. Our district nurses worked the event and made sure that people were safe, and actually I think they worked with drawing down the injections and doing different things. Mr. Fritz and his group over there at Madison Central getting things set up. Our food service staff providing lunch to the folks that were working there. So just so many people jumped in and helped out there. And as well, I also want to say thank you to all of our staff members across the district that were willing to be vaccinated. That was very good news. So again, that gives us hope, gives us promise for moving forward. A couple other things I want to mention. Yesterday was Family Resource Youth Service Center Day in Kentucky. And last week was our National School Counseling Week. And we really appreciate all of the work that's done by our Friskies and also by all of our school counselors every single day. They work so hard to provide things for our students and for our families. We would not be able to provide the services as a district without these two groups of people. They are critical to what we do. They certainly are deserving of much more than just a day or a week's recognition. We need to say thank you to them every day because they truly are amazing, and we really appreciate them. And that is my superintendent report.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Gillum. That is some great news that you have presented us with tonight. We are making strides to getting back in these buildings 5 days a week, and it's coming. I can just feel it. So, all right. So next on our agenda item is comments from the board. Do we have any comments from anyone else? All right, nothing from anybody? Okay. All right, so at this time, we need to enter into our executive session to discuss the potential property acquisition or sale. So I need a motion to enter into executive session to discuss potential real property acquisition or sale for which publicity at the present stage might or would likely affect the value. This is per KRS 61.8101B. Do I have a motion?
Lori, I'll make the motion, please.
All right, so we have a motion by Ms. Spurford. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Oh, I got Mr. Rutherford first. Okay, so we'll have a second by Mr. Rutherford. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. Any opposed? All right. Okay, so at this time, we will dismiss for executive session. right, is the gang all here? Brandon's not here, is he?
I'm yawning.
I can't see it all.
Coming back.
David, your mic is off.
I know. I was actually talking to Jeannie. So
sorry.
Yeah. So Brandon, I don't think Brandon's going to be able to get in. He may here in just a second. Jeannie has to admit people back into the meeting, and her computer just froze up, and Brandon's not admitted yet. So, but with nothing more than we have left on our agenda, I would suggest just moving on.
Go ahead. Okay. So we have just come out of our executive session. So let me have a motion to come out of executive session. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Okay. We have a motion by Ms. Burford. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
And a second by Ms. Brock. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. So we are out of executive session, and there is no action that was taken from our executive session. So do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All right. We have a motion by Ms. Coyle, and I think that was a second by Ms. Brock. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. All right. Our meeting is adjourned. Thank you all very much for sticking around with us, and hope everybody stays safe and warm.
Thanks. Bye, you guys.
Yeah.
See you all later.
Bye-bye.